Alright, what's going on, guys? Robert Welkner here of CoinOpTV. Gonna do some gameplay commentary of NBA 2K12. I'm gonna do some of the Legends games, and I've got the Celtics, Boston Celtics with Larry Legend Bird and Atlanta Hawks. And I'm not gonna really talk too much over the game because, you know, why blow it for the commentary? So let's get into it and see what happens.
We're going back to the Wayback Machine, and we've sent it to Boston, Massachusetts. Hi, everyone, and welcome. This is Kevin Harlan with Steve Kerr and Clark Kellogg as we wait for Larry Bird and the Celtics to take on the Atlanta Hawks.
And the Celtics were so dominant with Bird, McHale, Parrish. There's so many weapons, it was no secret why they were the team to beat in the East.
And on the other side, one of the most exciting players to ever grace the hardwood, Dominique Wilkins. He'll match up with Larry Bird at the small forward spot.
Well, we could see a bit of one-upsmanship with these two. They can both score at will, it seems, and should lead the way in scoring for their teams. Taking a look now at this Celtics team. It's the all-star front court that is so feared around the NBA with Bird, McHale, and Parrish. In the backcourt, Dennis Johnson running the point. He's flanked by Danny Ainge at the off guard. And on the other side, matching up against Bird at the three is Dominique Wilkins. The Twin Towers underneath are Kevin Willis and Tree Rollins. Doc Rivers and Randy Whitman of the backcourt to round out the starting five. It's one-on-one. And so he draws the foul on the shot, on trip to the line to shoot two.
That was good awareness. Fouling and avoiding giving up an easy dunk.
Well, I think that's just good, smart basketball. Make him earn his points at the line.
Alright, terrible start. I threw the ball away and then Bird almost got dunked on. What's the delay here? Somebody cleaning up some sweat?
That free throw good from Wilkins.
And probably more so than any player in NBA history, Larry Bird really connected with the fans in the city of Boston. Just had that way about him. The fans seem to feed off of him and vice versa.
No good on the second free throw. Back to Larry Bird, Larry Legend. It wasn't really a surprise to see his number retired immediately upon his retirement.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys, after the season he had in '86, I'm surprised they didn't hang that jersey up the next season. I mean, he was unbelievable in 1986.
And it's the Hawks with the ball. Following the miss by Robert Parrish. Rivers with it.
Off to a slow start here, guys.
Poke loose.
A steal.
Well, DJ is so good at creating havoc and forcing turnovers.
Well, just a tenacious defensive stopper. One of the best defensive guards of all time. You can see why with steals like that.
He hangs in there and cashes in on the second chance points. And it's Johnson picking him up. Willis against McHale. Now Rivers. Here's Wilkins. And that's collected by Bird.
Bird actually averaged about 10 rebounds per game in his career, which a lot of people forget because most people think about him as just a wonderful shooter and passer. He's a pretty big, strong guy, and he got a lot of work done on the glass.
Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give him two chances at the free throw line here.
Oh, boy.
Back on Bird's rebounding, Clark. He was 6'9". About your size. He was not afraid to mix it up and get on the board.
No, not at all. And he was an excellent defensive rebounder. I mean, you don't just walk into 10 rebounds a game by accident. I mean, he knew where to be, understood how to position his body. Wasn't a great leaper, but a lot of good rebounders aren't great leapers. I wasn't a great leaper, but was really a good rebounder. He just went after the ball with tenacity and purpose, and that's what made him, I thought, an outstanding rebounder.
The Hawks are making a switch on the floor. Concac's checked in.
You know, some people might have said he looked like a hick from French Lick, but you talk to guys that played against him, and I'm one of them, and the one thing they'll tell you about Larry Bird was he could talk trash with the best of them. He did it in a quiet way, but he got his jabs in.
Atlanta with the ball.
All right, Paris has got a pretty good post-up game.
From the post, it's stolen by Johnson.
Well, what a balance of front court and back court defense on this Celtics team, and the Hawks really struggling to deal with it.
Dennis Johnson's my all-star.
That turnover and convert at the other end.
Absolutely. I mean, points off turnovers this time generated off the steal.
And Clark, you talk about Larry and his trash talking. Larry Bird could back it up. And that was the great thing about him, when he would ever get into it with opponents.
Yeah, when he was on, you couldn't do a thing about it either. I mean, he would come up to the opposing
See what you got, Larry.
tell them he was going to rip their heart out at the buzzer, and he'd do it. I mean, he would do whatever he said. The guy was just a machine.
Here's Rivers. Willis against McHale. The jump hook, and Willis gets it to go.
His footwork in the low post is tremendous, almost ballerina-like.
Ainge was such a key player for those Celtics teams. A very tough player at both ends of the floor.
Yeah, he was an old-school guard, kind of a combo guard, could handle it a little bit and also play off the ball. And you needed a tough guard like him in this era. He was fearless out there and really got under people's skin because he never gave up and played extremely hard.
A nice shot by Rivers.
Wow, Rivers.
Rivers has got
High
his
fly
first
act.
bucket of the night. The Celtics with the lead.
Come on,
Intercepted.
DJ. Face me.
It up. Here's Wilkins. It's stolen by Johnson. Celtics on offense. And here is Parrish. Wilkins picks him up. Bird against Willis. And it's Bird missing.
Well, they're able to track that one down, but they've got to pick up the rebounding a little bit here.
Yep, and that's something to keep an eye on, guys. I mean, it's still early right now, and those slight disadvantages can grow if you don't make the proper adjustment.
One of the interesting
tie
stories
game
about
here.
Larry Bird, he was actually drafted by the Celtics after his junior season. There was a technicality in the rules at that point that allowed Red Auerbach to draft him a year before he came out and turned into one of the best draft picks of all time.
Yeah, you know what, Steve? That rule was that you had a calendar year to sign someone that was drafted, and it worked extremely well for the Celtics and Red Auerbach. They took him early, let him play out his senior year, then had him waiting. I mean, 6 overall for a player you had to wait a year for. That's a pretty good indication of the talent that Bird had.
Here's Wilkins, and it's sent back by McHale. Over Johnson. Wilkins with another miss.
Tell you what, things just aren't bouncing his way this quarter.
Now here's Johnson. And here's Bird from the... He just...
There it is. There it is.
Unflappable. Wasn't rattled at all. I mean, he's the kind of guy you want taking those shots.
Yep, I agree with that. Pressure mounting, the crowd counting it down, and bang, he drains it.
A free-flowing first quarter. Great scoring through one. Celtics out in front, up by 5.
Good job, Larry.
I thought the defense was key here for this club. They really tightened up and made it difficult on their opponent.
How about the help on the drives and rotations? I mean, they've really been in sync as a unit.
And we'll return momentarily.
Boston Gardens before they tore it down. All right, we got the lead.
The first quarter is in the books. Second about ready to get underway.
Boston's got the lead. I'm playing mostly DJ, Dennis Johnson, but Larry Legend there got
Bird
off.
was so dominant throughout the entire decade of the 80s. It's hard to pick out a best year for him. I mean, sometime in the mid to late 80s, though, was when he was at his best.
Was it Spud Webb in the game? Oh, my gosh.
Then it's Bird.
Forgot about him.
McHale in at the 4 slot. That's the 5 to begin the second quarter for the Celtics. Thinking more about his best year for Larry Bird, his stats were probably best in '88, averaging 30 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists a game. But Clark in '86, he led that great team to the finals.
Well, in '86, I mean, that was one of the most dominant teams in NBA history, and Bird's numbers were a little down from where they were in '88. 26 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, but remarkable numbers, and that was Larry Bird at his best, 1986. After digging themselves that hole in the first quarter, this club is starting to shoot the ball much better now.
Yeah, you know, sometimes it takes a little while to work out the knots. I mean, they're starting to put it together.
Deflected.
And look at how quickly he got his hands in the way of that pass.
And the basket good.
That was a mistake. I didn't mean
in the
to
quarter.
That was a dangerous pass, but he put
pick
it
up
right
my
where it
dribble
had to be.
there.
Bird known for his clutch play, and it's almost the stuff of legends. It actually is. I mean, he was so good down the stretch.
Wilkins against Bird. This is to McHale. And blocked. The Celtics are the last ones to touch it, and they'll turn it over.
Oh, what is that garbage?
It's good to be thinking a few steps ahead, but you got to maintain some type of current awareness too.
And some changes here for the Celtics. Robert Parrish is checked in for McHale, and it's Easting in for Dennis Johnson. Antoine Carr, he's checked in for Atlanta. Johnson comes in for Whitman.
All right, I'm Danny Ainge now. I'm gonna jack up some crazy threes. Oh, that's travel.
And fouled
Ref.
hard that time. He'll get to the line and shoot two. Robert Parrish picks one up there.
Well, getting back to Larry Bird, guys, in crunch time, I mean, it wasn't just his shooting. It was the steals. How about the steal he made against Detroit in the famous Isaiah Thomas game when he stole the inbounds pass and fed Dennis Johnson for that lay-in? I mean, he did it at both ends of the floor.
You know, I think my favorite Larry Bird quote comes from Magic Johnson when he said, "Larry, you told me one lie. You said there will be another Larry Bird. Larry, there will never, ever be another Larry Bird." High praise, and he just might be right.
Well, the closest I've ever seen to Larry Bird would be Dirk Nowitzki. He has, that similar shooting stroke, that size, the rebounding ability. Bird was the better passer, but Dirk Nowitzki probably as close to Larry Bird as we're ever going to see in our lifetime.
The Hawks trail by 3.
No, that's not Danny Ainge.
Johnson kicks to
Stitchley.
Webb.
I don't remember him.
Wedman pulls it in. Celtics on offense. It's a 3-point game. Carr against Bird. Parrish the pass to Bird. 6 to shoot. And another basket for Boston.
Gross shot. We'll take it.
What made Bird so difficult to cover was the combination of his height and the angle of his shot. He released the ball kind of out and over his head, so very difficult to challenge him.
You know, you're all over it there, Steve. I mean, a big part of why he was such a great shooter was his size and that unique release angle you talked about. It was really hard for smaller players to bother or distract his shot.
Yeah, they are just lighting him up from mid-range area.
You know, sometimes we forget about the value of the mid-range or in-between game. This team has made 8 of their last 10 with that shot, the in-between
Grab
shot.
that.
And you did not want to mess with Tree Rollins. He's
Done.
a true intimidator on the court. And Danny Ainge still has the scar to prove it.
Yeah, I don't get some of these players. They get
The
blocked.
Celtics with the lead.
They don't recover.
Here is Easting. Over Johnson. And another basket for Boston.
I'll tell you what, he's made more than a few of those in his career.
Here's Atlanta. They trail by 3.
And how about Larry Bird ending his career as part of that 1992 Dream Team playing in Barcelona? What a great way for him to finish his career, playing with guys like Magic Johnson and Patrick Ewing and Michael Jordan. Pretty amazing run.
And some changes here for the Celtics. Kevin McHale. He checked
Oh,
in for
Kevin McHale
Ainge
coming in.
comes in for Larry Bird. And Dennis Johnson's subbed in for Wedman.
All right, I got Ainge now. I'm gonna jack up some shots with Ainge and Bird. Bird is still in there.
Here's Johnson. Rivers with it. Ainge covering.
Oh
It
no,
Seasting grabs
that's
the
not
board.
gonna happen. Oh, Seasting is
Back
still
to
in
Bird
there.
and that dream team. It was great to see him get a gold medal and go out on top.
Yeah, I agree with you there, guys. I mean, especially since the year before he was so hobbled by injury, Kevin. It was definitely a nice touch to see him go out as a winner representing the United States.
Johnson kicks to McCain.
Got to shoot a little
Good
baseline.
with the assist that time from Johnson. Now it's a 5-point Celtic lead.
You look at how they've been scoring the basketball, and it's really fun to watch them because all the baskets are coming off assists.
Well, keep that in mind. I mean, they're a much more efficient team when they make that extra pass. When they get in trouble, it's when they're taking quick shots.
Here's Rivers. 5 on the clock.
Oh, carry.
Shoots from 12. That's good.
Ref, where he at?
He's got his second basket.
Now, you can't give him any space out there.
Just 1 second between the shot clock and game clock. McHale outside. Parrish backs down. Rollins is tagged with the reach. That's his first foul.
All right. Shoot some free throws. I don't think I'm in the penalty. Do an out-of-bounds play? Can't quite figure out the out-of-bounds plays.
Here's Ainge. And the defense really pressing up on him. Made that a tough shot. Up in time.
Well, Larry Bird in this one, 7 points, and you can add 1 3-pointer to his stat line also.
Well, you have to like a little bit of everything in the box score for him right now. He's really had a solid game.
It's more NBA coming your way.
So, yeah, I got to figure out if there's a way to do inbound plays. Because I'm still kind of learning, guys. So it hasn't been too bad. I haven't done much with Larry. I'm going to get Larry back in the game and see if I can get some shots off of him. We're winning, so that's a good sign.
Welcome back, everybody. The start of the second half getting underway. Both teams battling hard through the first half.
Not much of a battle. I mean, basically Dominique has been posting up and getting some shots off.
And you see Larry playing against the Hawks here. He had some of the best games of his career against Atlanta. And how about the duel he had with Dominique Wilkins in the playoffs all those years ago?
On the court for Atlanta, we've got Rollins. Kevin Willis out there with Dominique Wilkins. And it's Rivers. And it's Whitman at the 2-guard. Wilkins. Can't hit. And the Celtics go with it the other way. Going back to Bird just a second, Steve, against the Hawks. He had that game where he had 60 against them. And then Clark was so dialed in, he was calling shots as he went up the court.
Well, Bird could definitely talk with the best of them. You didn't know he was doing it, but unless you were out there between the lines, he was discreet with it. But he ended up with 60 that night, guys. And for his last shot, he said he hit it from in the trainer's lap. And sure enough, he made a 3, got fouled, and fell into the Hawks trainer. The Hawks bench, guys, went wild cheering for him on that one.
They're moving it around. Bird covering.
See, all right, good D.
Wilkins with another miss.
Parrish was not shy in terms of mixing.
Oh, Ainge, jack that up there.
Chief for his stoic manner.
Yeah, he did have that kind of demeanor, guys, where you didn't really know what he was thinking or feeling, but he was just as tough as any center in the league, I thought, and you can ask the Pistons about it as well.
Ainge is whistled for reaching in.
All right.
Foul number 2 for him.
Typical Danny Ainge.
Checked in for the Hawks.
Getting a foul.
Here's Wilkins. He's got 6. Whitman passes to Rivers. Pushes up. Willis, no good.
This game very well could come
I'm
down
not giving
to
up the
a
ball.
few possessions, and if that's the case, rebounding could play large.
Yeah, in a close game like this one, securing the ball is so vital.
Now Rivers. Following the miss by Larry Bird from deep.
I'm going to play as Larry
Here's
here
Whitman.
for a little bit. Oh, get back into play.
High post try. A nice shot by Rivers. Rivers has got 6.
It was great to see Larry Bird when he was healthy. I mean, you forget just how dominant a player he was. It's really a shame that late in his career, back injury slowed him down some.
Now here's Bird. 9 points in the game so far.
Oh, the signature
Again, the
fall
miss by the
down.
Celtics.
Well, they wanted to come out of this half a little better than this. Only 25% shooting so far.
Celtics leading by 3. Thinking about Larry's back, if he were to keep playing, the early 90s would have been something wild in this league.
Now, Jordan in his prime with Magic, Bird, the Bad Boys in Detroit, all still playing. Man, that would have been something to watch. How do they forget where Larry Bird is? You can't leave him that open.
That open? That was barely open.
Larry Bird was a 3-time MVP, and boy, were all of those MVP seasons something. 84, 85, 86. He was averaging about 27 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists every night, and really driving the big green machine.
Walton's checked in for Boston. Seaston comes in for Dennis Johnson.
The big redhead, Walton. All right, let me see if I can get Walton a post-up move here.
Here's Rivers. He's got 6. Clark, talked about his MVP seasons. Maybe 87 was his best year as far as shooting, scoring, and passing.
Yeah, Bird and Magic both had extraordinary seasons in 1987, Kevin. And really, I thought both of them were well-deserving of the MVP award.
Travel.
Celtics leading by 4. McHale dishes to Walton.
Oh, there's Walton. Oh, let's get it to Bird.
Bird outside.
Let's just jack it up.
Again, the miss by Bird.
And you get a look at a young Kevin Willis. He went on to play, what, 21, 22 years in the league?
Yeah, ended up actually, Steve, playing 23 seasons in all, and that really is a testament to his ability and his health and his commitment to staying in shape and taking care of his body.
He can't seem to stop anybody inside.
They got to know that if they don't make life tougher in the paint, the opponent is just going to keep going there. I mean, it's not like they'll get tired of all these in-close opportunities.
Now, here is Ames, looking for his first bucket of the game. From 11 feet away, Wilkins gets the rebound. Wilkins has got 3 rebounds now in this one. Rivers against McHale for the tie. Again, the Hawks score.
I was looking for a post-up Walton play there on offense. Oh, got to run across.
Yeah, let's see if they use the clock to their advantage.
Shoots from the elbow, and he gets the jumper to drop. Ainge has got his first basket of the night.
And you look at this Celtics team, interesting. Kevin McHale and Danny Ainge, both from this Celtics team, went on to be general managers for the Wolves and Celtics, respectively.
Yeah, you know what? There was a little suspicion when McHale sent KG over to the Celtics. People were wondering if the old teammates really still wore Celtic green underneath, but I think McHale is too competitive to let that happen.
And McHale backs down. An easy 2 points on the layup.
Old school.
And the Celtics lead by 2.
You know, the defense has to prevent the ball from getting down into that area if they're going to be successful, guys.
Here's Wilkins, and the Hawks getting another basket right there.
Well, they've got to do something defensively because he's been unstoppable.
And defensively, Steve, your only choice now is to double him. I don't think there's another option.
And we wrap up the
How come that didn't go to Larry?
An exciting fourth quarter.
Was that Danny?
Without question, Larry Bird displaying his skills today.
Now, it's been nothing but positive for this team. The way he's been really selective with his shot making. He's been very unselfish.
Yeah, that 3 seconds should just be automatic. It should just go right into Larry's hands. Danny.
So many impressive numbers.
All right, fourth quarter action, tie game.
I think what stands out to me, 9
Let's see what we got here.
He made the NBA's all-first team.
Let's bring Parrish over.
How dominant
oh, dunk that.
Such a long stretch of time.
Wedman is out there with Bird. Then there's Johnson. Then it's Parrish, and it's Vincent in at the 1 spot. That's the Boston 5. Now Webb. Good luck. The offensive rebound. Goes back up. And Boston with the rebound. Parrish has got his 5th rebound in this one. Back to Bird's first team nod. Steve, you were just talking about that. Those came against a lot of fantastic forwards in the NBA, including the guy to my side here, Clark Kellogg.
Well, my career was short-lived, but I held my own against those guys when I was out there. And Dominique Wilkins, a contemporary of mine, actually we were in the same NBA draft in '82. He was one of the outstanding forwards, as was Kevin McHale. Both were out there. A lot of great players, but Bird was simply a cut above them all.
Knocked away, out of bounds, and they'll keep possession. Some changes for Boston.
Is that guy one of the coaches?
McHale comes in for Larry Bird, and Danny Ainge has subbed in for Vincent. Kevin Willis has checked in for Atlanta. Rivers comes in for Whitman.
All right, Ainge is back. We'll toss up some threes with him. Dennis Johnson, my all-stars, back
Here's
in.
Wilkins.
Oh, I almost had like a 5 count there.
Robert Parrish comes up with the rebound. Parrish has got 6 rebounds now in the game.
And you look back at that glorious
Let's bring it
decade
over
of
Parrish
the
here.
80s in the NBA. Bird was just so dominant. He won 3 titles in Boston, and of course had that magical,
He's passing.
so to speak, rivalry with Irvin Magic Johnson with the Lakers. They dominated that decade together.
And here is McHale. Parrish backs down. Johnson left side. 18 feet away.
That's what I tried to do
Wilkins
before.
gets the rebound. And Steve, back to what you were saying. Deep down, though, you knew Magic and Bird loved competing against each other. Clark, you were right there on the court many times against those guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 2 fantastic players, and to this day, it's still argued over who was
Backcourt.
best. But they were certainly the best of the best in the 80s. I mean, 8 of the 10 NBA titles went to either Bird's Celtics or Magic's Lakers.
That backcourt was not my fault.
Kicks to Willis.
I let go of the joystick, and it flipped
Willis
back.
with a screen on Johnson. Livingston. Snatched up. And it's blocked. Parrish with the block. Celtics leading by 4. Now, here is Ainge. Bangs home the trifecta.
They've stepped up their three-point shooting game in the second half. They're letting it fly out there with reckless abandon.
Now they're feeling confident, and they're in a good flow offensively, so why not just keep firing from out there?
That's the way Danny used to be.
Timeout.
Reckless abandon.
Offensively hurting his team in the process. He needs to trust his teammates more.
That's like Curtis Blow on the soundtrack there.
Check in for McHale. Bird comes in for Webber, and it's Easting in for Danny Ainge. And the Hawks will go for a different look here.
Try and get a play for Bill Walton here. A lot of substitutes on Atlanta.
Here's Johnson. He passes to Willis. They need this, and he makes good on the layup.
Falling
Boy,
asleep
what a great
there.
job of getting
Willis.
into the teeth of the defense and scoring in the paint.
And that's been their main point
Alright,
of
see,
attack.
I don't have my
get the ball
Parrish,
deep,
cut to
try
basket,
score
Johnson
from
isolation.
in tight rather than rely on their outside shooting. I mean, that's a more consistent way to score. Take it inside.
Backing down is Walton. Free throw line jump shot. Rebound Atlanta. 1:56 left in the fourth quarter. Here's Johnson. Cannot hit. So Boston will take it the other way.
Oh, nobody's watching me.
Kept alive. Here's Walton.
There's Walton. Get in!
And the Celtics lead by 7.
Now you hear Bill on the telecast saying, throw it down to other big men. He probably should have taken his own advice right there.
Sound call here. The Hawks.
We had McHale. Celtics had
They're
McHale,
losing
Walton,
by 7.
Parrish.
39 left in the game. Kevin McHale, he checked in for the Celtics.
I may win
Ainge
this.
Comes in for Seaston. Then for the Hawks, Rollins checked in for Hastings. Wilkins comes in for Antoine Carr. And it's Rivers in for Johnson.
All right, let's end the game with as Larry here. Oh my
Rivers
guard.
with it.
Johnson, Kevin, or
Tipped. Stolen by Ainge.
Just one turnover for him in the first half, guys, but now he's really having a hard time taking care of the ball.
Here's McHale. He feeds it to Parrish. Open look. And that one's good. And it's a 9-point Celtic lead.
Soft touch.
Another great job of moving the basketball and finding a good shot.
Steve, that's been the theme for them so far. I mean, they've really worked well as a unit together, and the assist totals echo that.
Johnson against Rivers. Back to Wilkins. The leaner. So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up, and 2 shots coming up.
Oh, bailout.
It's on Danny.
No way. Well, Dominique was never a great free throw shooter, so see how he does.
Gets the first. That brings them within 8. So he gets them both.
That's called timeout. I don't like this full court press here.
Time called here. The Celtics decide to talk it over. They're leading by 7.
Oh, let's see. Who's in the match here? Alright, let's go for some bird action. See what we can get.
.52 seconds left in the 4th quarter. Bird left side. Over Wilkins. And Bird with the basket on the assist by Ainge.
Bucket.
And that ought to do it. That should seal the deal.
Yep, I agree. Closing it out with relish.
Atlanta calls.
That was my timeout play.
They're down.
Inbound it to Ainge. Toss it to Larry.
Left to play in the final quarter.
Under pressure, jack it up in the guy's face.
Here's Rivers. Outside Wilkins. From the wing. Bullseye.
Oh, come on.
Boy, he just seems to score so easily. The game comes very simply to him.
Clark, they're in good position here to ride it out.
Yeah, they certainly are. I mean, if they just play smart right here, Kevin, this game's pretty much over.
And the shot.
Forget about smart. We got to bury him. 10-point game, baby.
Posting to the finish line.
Steve, just a matter of time right now.
Spud? Or it's a duck.
A step back shot here. Rivers can't get it to go.
That's a good shot. High percentage.
Can't complain about that one.
Celtics?
Out of bounds. And they'll keep possession.
Let's go to...
Stripped it
Oh, what
away.
is that? Just trying to pass it to
Here's
Parrish
Whitman.
there. Top of the key.
Here's Wilkins.
3 seconds.
And that one goes in as he is fouled. It'll be 3 points if he converts at the line.
All right, you guys are going to need a miracle, as they say, to catch up here. Atlanta didn't really have a lot of three-point shooters back in this era.
Can't complete the 3-point play, and it's still an 8-point game. Feeds to Ainge. Beyond the arc. Good, and it's Johnson with the assist that time.
The dagger.
Nice
Ainge.
offensive play there, and this one's
There it
pretty
is.
much in the books,
Victory.
guys.
Yeah, I agree. You know what? It was a very good showing from them to come away with the win. I was very impressed.
And so it's Boston easily grabbing this one.
Fun game to look back on, but in the end, the Celtics just too much for the Hawks.
A lot of great players on this Celtics team, and they can hurt teams in so many ways, just as the Hawks found out.
It's been great checking back on some NBA history. And who epitomizes that more than the great Larry Bird? Thanks for joining us. For Steve Kerr and Clark Kellogg, Kevin Harlan saying good night, everyone.
All right, there it is. So that's the end of the Celtics and Atlanta Hawks. For CoinOpTV, this is Robert Welkner. Hit like, favorite, comment, subscribe. I know it's kind of a garbage game there, and I just had Bird kind of jacking things up, but, you know, you stick around, we'll do better the rest of the games. All right, guys, for CoinOpTV, this is Robert Welkner signing out. We'll see you next time.